everyone, it's Q&A Friday, and today I want to focus on two questions that I've been asked recently. Question number one was, how early should I start signing with my child? Well, in reality, no matter what language you're talking about, the earlier you introduce it, the better. It comes down to the simple fact that kids learn best by imitation. It's not a matter of sitting down and having a teaching moment where I tell you, okay, today we're going to sign milk. It's going to be more along the lines of, hey, do you want some milk? And then as you use that on a day-to-day basis, your child will start to imitate that. And the same goes for any other sign that they're learning or any other language that they're learning for that matter. So the more you use them, the more often you use them, you will start to see that they not only start to recognize what you're signing, you can even test that out a little bit. And for example, you can point at it and sign milk without actually saying it and see if they recognize it. And then eventually they'll imitate that as well. Now, if you have a child with special needs, keep in mind that depending on their developmental stage, their progress might be slightly different. That doesn't mean they can't do it. It just means they will do it in their own time, and they might modify the signs a little bit depending on their fine motor skills, their developmental stage. So that's what you want to judge it by more than anything else. You're looking for progress. So you're looking for them to start to recognize the signs, and then you're looking for any attempt that they make to imitate those signs that you're showing them on a day-to-day basis. So again, the earlier the better. Don't feel overwhelmed by this. You can start off with making a list of 5 signs that you want to start teaching them and go from there. Question number 2 that I was asked recently was, what is the difference between the baby signing time and the original signing time series? Really, it comes down to the age group that you're looking at. The baby signing time series, sorry, stumbling on that every time. The baby signing time series is geared towards ages 0 to 3, whereas the signing time series is gauged towards 3 and above, 3 to 8 technically speaking, but it can be used beyond that as well. Personally, I prefer this signing time series for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is there's a lot of overlap in the vocabulary that is being taught. So what you see in the baby signing time will also be present in the signing time DVD series. And then reason number 2 especially applies to this group. Most of us are here because we as the parents want to learn the vocabulary first and then imitate it to our children, and our children are of various ages in this group. So to me personally, when I started with my son, it was more important that I could relate to the video, that the video was engaging for me to learn it and then to share it with him. So even though he was 1 year old when he started, the baby signing time series was too, for lack of better terms, babyish for me personally. The main difference is the 2 main characters, Alex and Leah, are animated in the baby time series, and all the children that they show using the signs are under the age of 3. So you see a lot of variations in the signs, a lot of modification, which is totally age appropriate for that group. However, I needed personally, as the parent learning this, I needed to see all the variations, not just for the 0 to 3 group. So I chose the signing time series because I could see examples of kids that were in that 0 to 3 group, but I could also see examples of kids that were much older. So you see that progression of what a modified sign looks like versus the accurate sign in the end, which is your goal. So in that regard, I prefer the signing time series. That's just my opinion. You have to make your own choice on what you prefer at this moment in time. Other than that, the 2 series are essentially the same. The setup is the same. The sign gets introduced where Rachel shows the sign. The word will be written on the screen. So it's early education at the same time. It's about recognizing the sign and the written word. And then the signs are used in different songs, which is very engaging for the kids. And it also reinforces the skills over and over again and shows you different ideas on how to incorporate the signs on a day-to-day basis. So for those reasons, the Signing Time series does have a little bit more added features. For example, there's a lot more incidental signs that are being taught. What I mean by that is you have the list of signs that I showed you in the checklist that are taught in each DVD, but then there's also quite a few signs that are being taught in the songs themselves that are not necessarily listed. And then there's some bonus features where you also get additional signs on top of what's already in the checklist. So for those reasons, that was my preference. As an instructor, I should probably tell you buy both, but I'm not going to do that because that's not how I work. So my preference is the Signing Time series because it can kind of grow with your child, and you can, quite frankly, it's easier for adults to sit through every day. If you prefer the cartoon version though, by all means go for it. The goal here is choose whatever works for you to get a head start on building this foundation for communication. If you have any questions, as always, let me know, and I will keep answering them on Fridays in our Q&A session. Talk to you then.